Hey guys, welcome to the channel. This is our first video for 2025, and today we are talking about Little Nightmares 2. Now, I'm a little behind on these games. Both of these games I never played when they first came out. I played them much later when they became like one of the free games for PlayStation of the Month. But during the month of October last year, we played a lot of Halloween-themed games or horror games, and Little Nightmares was one of the ones that we played, and we had a fantastic time about it. With that said, guys, before we get into it, I just want to do a quick little shout-out here. We do stream every Wednesday at 7 p.m. as well as Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m., so make sure that you guys are subscribed. Hit that notification bell so that we can be notified whenever we go live. Little Nightmares 2. We are a few years... like 3 or 4 years. Like, this game has been out for a hot minute, and we really enjoyed it. I really liked the first one. Had some issues with the first one that unfortunately I feel like still carried over into this game here. Some of the things that I really liked about it, I think that they took a lot of the horror aspect of the game from the first one and amplified it in this one. I think the second game is much more scary, I would say. I personally didn't think any of the games were scary, but I felt more unsettled. Like, there's a lot of very unsettling things. We have like the teacher with the super long neck, which is absolutely horrifying. The surgeon dude that's crawling on the roof like he's freaking Spider-Man. And I just think that the creepiness factor or the horror factor in this one is definitely amped up from the first game. Also, one of the things that I really liked about Little Nightmares 2, and this kind of applies to the first one as well, is that I love the feel, like how bleak this world is. Like, you're so small and everything is so big, like it just feels very like bleak and helpless. And I actually really like that. It's weird to say that out loud, but I actually really like that. You just feel so small, and this world is just, there's so many these big monstrous horrors, and everything's chasing you and wants to kill you, and they do a really good job at the atmosphere in this game. Like, they just really killed it. It's very lonely, very depressing, and I really enjoyed that. Kind of going along with that as well, I think the music here is also really good. Singing in the background, it's just it's not loud and in your face, it's just very, very creepy. And I think it just adds, like I said earlier, to that atmosphere of the game. I really love the way that they told the story here. There's not really any talking in this game. There's not really any like characters interacting with one another. There's very subtle hints, and like, so basically you're just kind of learning the story as our characters are kind of learning the story. It's a very show don't tell, and they do a good job at visually telling you what's going on with this world. You see all of the adults that are just like zoned into the TV, and then like all of these different like puppet kids that are at the school and they're not really alive, and like, so they're doing a good job at visually telling you what is going on in this world without blatantly just telling you what's going on. And I actually really like that. Speaking of the story, kind of minor spoilers here. I guess major spoilers technically, but the game's been out for a while, so I mean, I'll spoil it if I want to. The end loop I thought was incredibly well done. So first off, back up just a little bit. I did not realize that this was a prequel for a good majority. I saw that we got the girl with the yellow rain jacket. I don't remember anyone's names. I think 6 or something like that, or maybe 6 is our character. I can't remember who is who, but I really liked that. It took me a minute to realize, it's like, wait a minute, she's now getting the yellow jacket. Wait, what? And then like, as you play more throughout the game, you're like, oh, this is a prequel. This happens before the events of Little Nightmares 1, and I thought that was just incredibly well done, that they advertise this as a sequel. It's Little Nightmares 2, but it's really Little Nightmares, 1.0. We're right before Little Nightmares 1. And then, like what I said at the end, I thought that the loop at the end was incredibly well done. For those who don't know, basically, there's this big jump, and the character that's in the rain jacket reaches out to save the main character that we play as, but he doesn't have his helmet on or his mask. You can change the hats or whatever. He's not covering his face. And you could see that she notices that he looks like the tall, skinny, slender man that has been chasing them and trying to kill them, and which captures the girl in the rain jacket and, I don't know, tortures her basically, because she's like super huge and whatnot. And so she lets him go. And I thought it was just really great, because by letting him go, he falls down into the pit, and we see like a time lapse of him sitting in the chair, getting older, getting more like insane. And basically, because she dropped him in, he eventually becomes the tall, slender man that is chasing them. So basically, she creates the loop. I thought that was really great. When I saw that, I was like, so basically, this is just an eternal loop, and it just keeps happening and happening. Like, if she would have just pulled him up and saved him, the loop would have been ended. As I said this a little bit at the beginning, the game has some truly terrifying moments. I personally wasn't really scared, but I will say that the teacher was really well done. There's parts where I thought that we had escaped, and then we're like, oh, we're clear, we jumped in the vent, we're going. No, we were not clear. That teacher shoved her head into the vent, and she's chasing us and trying to like snap at us with her teeth, and I was just like, my kids were terrified of it. Like, there's a few of our streams that are up on the channel, you guys should watch them. They're freaking hilarious, where especially all the teacher ones, like my kids in the background, they wanted to play this game, but like every time the teacher like poked its head up with like long skinny neck, my kids were like, ah! Freaking hilarious. A lot of suspenseful moments from that, like especially when you get all the way up in the rafters and she hears noises and she just stretches her head all the way up to see what's going on. Very good. I really like the terrifying aspects of this. For the most part, the puzzles in this game weren't too terribly hard. They were pretty simple for the most part, minus the last puzzle. I was stuck on this last puzzle for a long time, and to be honest, I don't even know what the solution was. I kind of just kept going through the doors until I eventually went through the right order. I thought maybe it was like the music. I could hear like music when I got closer to it, or I thought a certain window got brighter, but I couldn't really tell, so that one was a little bit harder to do. But for the most part, all of the puzzles were extremely, I want to say they're easy, but they were all like doable. They weren't like hard or anything. Like just a little bit of looking around the room and whatnot was able to figure this out. Now, some of the things that I didn't quite like, which is unfortunately carried over from the first game. I just thought that the controls for the game just felt really stiff. Like, especially when I'm trying to swing that hammer around, everything just feels like really stiff to move around. I'm trying, just traversing the area, jumping onto ledges and just moving around, and just the normal just movement of the game just felt really stiff to me. And this was a issue I had with the first game as well, is that just everything, just the controls feel like I'm fighting the controls, if that makes sense. Second thing that I really didn't like about the game is that there was many times where I feel like the way that the camera was placed made it really hard to like tell the distance between things, like the spatial awareness, right? So either I'm going down a hall and I get slightly too close to a wall and I get snatched up by hands, or there's a part where I'm fighting like the bullies and you have to hit him in the head with the hammer, right? And I'm running down the hall, but the camera is facing towards me and I'm like running towards them, and I couldn't quite tell like when I needed to swing, and so there was quite a few like trial and error with that, which would have been solved if I just had a little bit more free movement with the camera. Same with like jumping to ledges. There's quite a few times where I would jump from rafter to rafter and I would completely miss and die, and I'm like, wait, what is going on? It's just like the camera angles were very hard to tell at some points, and like I said, that's another thing that happens in the first game as well, and both those issues just kind of carried over. Other than that, guys, I really don't have anything else negative to say about the game. I don't want to count this as a negative, but the game was incredibly short. I don't think necessarily the length of a game makes it bad or good. I think that if I've had fun playing a game that took me 100 hours, and I've also had a lot of fun playing a game that took me 5 hours. This is one of the shorter ones. I will say that I did want more after beating the game. I was just like, please, I just want more of this game. It was so much fun. Same with the first one, but at the same time, it took me like 5 hours. I was really short. I was just hoping for more. I don't want to say that's a negative, but basically I liked what I had, I liked what I was playing, liked what I was seeing, and I just wanted some more. With that said, guys, I'm going to give Little Nightmares 2 a 7 out of 10. I gave the first one, I believe, a 7 as well. I really like this one. I think this one does improve in a lot of the same aspects, but just personally for me, I didn't feel like there was that big of a leap to give it an 8. I feel like this was pretty much more of the same things, just different. The controls still felt really stiff, and the camera angles were really hard to mess with. But other than that, guys, I really enjoyed this game. I'd highly recommend playing both of these if you haven't already, Little Nightmares 1 and 2. With that said, guys, we are going to end the video here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and just a reminder, we do stream every Wednesday at 7, as well as Saturday and Sunday at 8 a.m. So make sure that you're subscribed, and we'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace!